We got to play it again. We got to play it again. We got to play it again. One of the funniest parts about all of this shit is that like the Tim Pools of the world and the Trump dick riders of the world are like, oh, Donald Trump is eradicating billionaires and their wealth right now. $7 trillion. Pee-pee poofed overnight. $7 trillion in market value gone. Okay? Couple things that I must maintain here. One, money is the most fake it's ever been. It will never be more fake than it is at this very moment. That's number one. The entire global financial structure is just, it's all maintained through confidence. Okay? It is so crazy. That's number one. Number two, money is the fakest it's ever been. That's number one. Number two, the idea for leftist values and socialists is not just to like fuck everyone's 401ks or their nest eggs or whatever. The entire point is uplifting the working class. It's not about, like, leftists do not want to nuke the entire planet. Okay? That's not the point. And a lot of these fucking dumbasses on the right don't comprehend that. They're like, oh, I thought this is what you wanted. It's like, no, dude, no. We want everyone to have basic amenities, to have their basic needs met, because we have the power and we have the abundance to be able to do this. We have the surplus to be able to do this. Okay? It's not about just like fucking over rich people a little bit for the first time ever, while simultaneously, for no discernible reason, doing that and fucking over the working poor spectacularly more. You know what I mean? That's not the point. The point is to actually build a manufacturing hub with good paying jobs where you know, people can buy a house, okay? Fix the housing market. Those are the things that we're supposed to be doing. This is not like the point isn't just to be like, haha, $6 trillion of fake value eroded overnight. Lol. It's like, okay, so did people's like retirement funds. You know what I mean? Sağ ol babacığım. Tamam, bırak. Eyvallah. It's such a funny attitude that like some of these Republicans have, which is like, they're just that's what they think. That's what they think is going on. What they think is going on is like, oh, well, you know, rich people are upset, so this is good. To be fair, it is kind of funny. It is. Especially if you like, you're looking at your 401k, it's not so funny, but then you're looking and you're thinking about like how much more value has wiped out from infinitely wealthier people, and that resentment obviously exists within you, and you look at that and you're like, okay, not the worst thing. Obviously, they will recover from this in ways that you will not be able to. So, you know, I am cautious in the way that I cover this, because on the one hand, it's like, haha, it's funny. But also on the other hand, it's not so funny, because what is yet to come is going to fuck every normal person a lot worse than it screws over the super wealthy. Because they'll always be like, wealth is a relative concept. You're only as wealthy as your wealth is still, at the end of the day, determined by how others who don't have that kind of wealth. Like it's a proximity thing, right? So they will, under this new structure, still maintain their position, still maintain their status, still be wealthy, just not as wealthy, I guess, right? Yeah, exactly. You're only as wealthy as others are poor. That's just how it kind of works. So that's why I'm like, you know, on the one hand, I think it's very funny, because it's like another moment of vindication. Something that I said was incredibly stupid that people seemingly did not listen to. I kept saying like universal tariffs. As a tariff liker, as a tariff enjoyer, as a trade protectionist appreciator, I think what Donald Trump is doing is very stupid. And lo and behold, it was, right? Yeah. not just rich people, not rich, but I do have money in stock and bonds. I'm losing the very little wealth security I have. Sucks. No, I know. I'm that's why I'm saying, on the one hand, there's a little bit of catharsis in seeing like a guy like Adin Ross be like, oh my God, I lost like $10 million overnight, right? But also on the other hand, you look at your own fucking situation, you look at your portfolio and you're like, well, he can lose 10 million. I can't. So it's a weird circumstance, knowing full well that like they can rebound from that, right? They can recover from that. Whereas you are not going to be able to recover from that. So on the one hand, like I see the catharsis, I see the resentment that a lot of people hold and why it's like kind of funny. But also on the other hand, I recognize how damaging this is. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Law, only 62% of Americans have stock. That's an insane number of people. And also, it doesn't even matter, because here's the reality. And this is something that I've talked about quite a bit. The way that it works is the gains in the stock market are privatized. They are up there at the tippy top, okay? It's consolidated. Wealth is consolidated at the top. The top 10% of the stock market owns 90% of all of the stocks, okay? In the United States of America. The bottom 90% is the 62% you're talking about. The bottom 90% is literally they only own 10% of the stocks. The way this works is when the stock market's doing well, they're doing really good. You're doing all right in comparison. But when it's doing poorly, those losses are socialized. So when the stock market does poorly, you're fucked, because companies start engaging in layoffs. You might get a recession. You might get a depression, right? So it's really fucking, it's awful. It's an awful situation overall. And it's not like this government, or any government, as a matter of fact, in the United States of America has ever historically looked at economic downturn periods and said, we got to save the working poor. Fuck the wealthy. We got to save the working poor instead. That has never happened. So that's also another scary circumstance. It's another scary thing to look at. So it's not about the actual losses, but the effects of those losses of the stock market downturn. Yes. For the average American, you would not care about your 401k if you had a reliable pension program and also Social Security that could keep you afloat. You'd be like, okay, this is extra money on the side. Great. Okay. The only reason why you feel like you have vested interest in the stock market doing well is because you don't have those things. And we have basically financialized that aspect of people's retirement already. Something I talk about quite a bit. This is the reason why, and it's a very clever, very insidious method of making you feel like you have vested interest in the stock market doing well. It is crazy to me that most people don't recognize this. That is precisely the reason why the dude working at the fucking kitchen, like a chef, under normal circumstances, who's not like super caked up, is still going, I'm checking the stocks. It's doing well. So I guess my president is doing right by me. It's like, bro, that's not for you. That's only there to make you feel like it is for you, right? And the unfortunate reality is, of course, you can't do anything about it, because in the absence, this is why I say, like, while I personally am, of course, very much against capital accumulation, I understand that even as a leftist, like, you have to have a retirement fund, right? Like, being a socialist, being a moral socialist doesn't mean that you work till you die. Being a moral socialist doesn't mean you can't have some kind of security, some kind of protection for your future. This is something that I've talked about quite a bit. I would never urge you not to have a 401k, for example. But for many people, I think, especially people that are just entering the market or have entered it and have been working for like a decade or whatever and have been trying to cultivate a retirement fund for themselves, those people know they're never retiring.